Getting in some news from Pakistan, a gunman riding on a motorcycle reportedly opened fire at a car carrying two Chinese factory workers. This has happened in Pakistan's port city of Karachi on Wednesday. It has left one of them wounded, and these two gunmen riding a motorcycle, of course, thereafter fled the scene. The motive behind the attack was not immediately clear. And senior officer Javed Akbar has said that the police are still investigating the matter. In fact, rescue worker Ahmad Shah said that both of them were foreigners, Chinese, and one of them sustained injuries in this attack. The incident comes weeks after a bus carrying Pakistani and Chinese workers also came under attack. Shivani, my colleague, is joining us with more details. Shivani, we keep up with these visuals of Chinese nationals being attacked in Karachi. Now, what we know is these are perhaps workers, laborers working in the port city of Karachi. But what is also important is this comes just 2 weeks after another terror attack that took place in which Chinese nationals, some of them who lost their lives as well.
Katrine, we've seen such incidents in the last few days also, and this particular incident, if we talk about, this has happened in Karachi, where these two Chinese workers, they were the factory workers, they were working in Pakistan's port city of Karachi, and today they got wounded. These people, two people came and they were on the motorcycle. They fired into the car which was carrying these two Chinese workers. And one of them was wounded and was fleeing from the scene. The police has said the motive behind the attack was not immediately clear. What has been told by the officials in Pakistan, Karachi, the senior officer Javed Akbar, he said that the police is still investigating. But what is important here is that we know a number of projects of China are going in Pakistan, the CPEC projects which are going on. There are engineers who are working in Pakistan, and the security agencies in Pakistan who have been raised to give protection to these Chinese people have failed badly. And this is another incident which is happening of late. We got a few more inputs weeks back that these Chinese people who have been working in Pakistan are just under terror, and they have to carry certain weapons for their self-protection. So now this fresh incident once more tells what is the state in Pakistan, the law and order situation, and how the terror elements are active. We have also seen that 2 weeks prior, 9 Chinese engineers were killed in one such attack who were working in the construction of the dam. And now these two factory workers from China have been attacked by two people who were on a bullet in Pakistan's Karachi. And many projects that are going on in Pakistan have been funded by China. Not only this, China also funds Pakistan security agencies to provide protection to these people from China who are working in Pakistan, but badly failing. Another incident.
Shivani, I'll come back to you. We have Major Gaurav Arya also joining us on the phone line. Major Arya, now China is a close ally and major investor in Pakistan, but we've seen such repeated attacks take place in the past as well. Now, if we go by the relationship the two nations, at least on the face of it, share, it's certainly looking extremely odd. The fact that these incidents are not, and cannot be seen in isolation, but perhaps are increasing with time.
No, absolutely, and they'll just go on increasing simply because Pakistan promised a level of security to the Chinese people. It has not been able to provide that security. And number two, China is losing faith in Pakistan, which is why even for the Dasu hydroelectric power dam project, they send their own team of 15 investigators to Pakistan who are currently there and trying to, there are forensic experts and there are detectives and police people and crime experts who are there, Chinese. So Pakistan is clearly failing, for all Pakistan's protests, saying that this is a conspiracy. They like to say India ki sazish hai for each and everything. The problem is that these homegrown terrorists are Pakistani in origin. And you see, wherever they are investing, that territory, especially Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area, that is claimed by the Pashtuns. It could very well be the TTP or the Afghan Taliban or their people who are attacking these Chinese engineers.
Yes. Second attack, indeed, within 2 weeks, which has come in, Major Gaurav Arya. But if you've been closely tracking these developments, can you tell us about what kind of reactions are we really picking up from the Chinese side? because you can't just brush these incidents aside. This is not the first such time that we're looking at something like this happen. Nine of those Chinese men were killed just 2 weeks ago.
No, absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. See, they've started happening only now. These attacks on Chinese nationals are new. While there has been a lot of friction between the Pakistanis and the Chinese, at least at the lower level, because the Chinese, typically are domineering sort of people who try to suppress the people where they work, and this is typical Chinese characteristic. But the fact of the matter is that such kinds of attacks resulting in deaths and killing of Chinese nationals was not seen before, and CPEC has been there for quite some time now. And I've been following Pakistan for decades. I've seen Chinese investments here for quite some time. But I have not seen these kind of things. This has only happened after the Americans started repositioning themselves and started removing ground troops from Afghanistan. And this is a blowback directly from Afghanistan, and this is only going to escalate. There is this issue of the Wakhan corridor, which I've discussed on Republic many a time, this entire thing about the Wakhan corridor. How the Chinese fear that, forget about their investments in Pakistan and forget about how Chinese are being targeted in Pakistan. Also the fact that Afghanistan and China share a border. This spillover is going to go right into mainland China. And it's not just Pakistan, it's also China. We're looking at very dangerous times ahead.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Major Gaurav Arya, for speaking to us. But yes, Chinese nationals targeted in Karachi in Pakistan. Once again, one of them, we're being told, has sustained serious injury. We're also tracking very closely the kind of reactions we're essentially picking up on this story, because we're talking about China and Pakistan, and this is a second such attack that has come in the past 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks ago, we saw how at least 9 Chinese nationals lost their lives in another terror attack. So a Chinese national this time around has been shot, another wounded in this attack that has taken place in Pakistan's largest city, Karachi. The police also now looking at it in detail, because remember, 2 weeks earlier on, 9 Chinese workers were killed when an explosion sent their bus over a ravine in the north of the country. We keep up with these latest visuals we are picking up of this attack. And the latest we know as far as this incident is concerned, the second attack in the last 2 weeks, this particular incident is concerned, two bike-borne men on a motorcycle. These men opened fire at a car in which 2 Chinese factory workers were traveling. This happened in Karachi on Wednesday. One of them, of course, has been wounded, but these 2 men on bike fled the scene. The motive behind the attack, as per the senior officer there right now, is not known. So investigations are currently underway. But one of the rescue workers said that both foreigners were Chinese and one of them has sustained injury. So this is the account as per the eyewitness there. For the moment, we move on to more national news we're tracking.